Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into a really powerful idea from Napoleon Hill's classic, Think and Grow Rich. It's all about the true nature of knowledge and, more importantly, how to actually make it work for you.
All right, let's get right into it. And we're going to start by tackling a phrase, you've probably heard this a million times. It's one of those sayings that kind of forms the foundation of how we think about success and getting educated.
Yep, this one. We've all been told this, right? It's just treated like this absolute fact. But here's the thing. Napoleon Hill comes along and says, hang on a second. What if that's not the whole story? In fact, what if that simple little phrase is actually holding a lot of people back?
So in his book, Hill makes this pretty bold claim. He basically says that famous quote is just, well, it's wrong. He saw so many people out there just collecting knowledge, filling their heads with all these facts, and then they just sit there wondering, okay, I'm smart, so where's the success?
And this is where he makes this key distinction. He says knowledge all by itself is, well, it's kind of useless. It's like a battery just sitting on a shelf. It's got potential for sure, but it's not doing anything, right? It only becomes powerful when you actually hook it up to something, when you organize it into a real plan and aim it at a specific goal.
So Hill draws this really clear line in the sand between two types of knowledge. First, you've got general knowledge. He compares it to a stagnant pond full of interesting facts. It might be huge, but it's not going anywhere. But then you've got specialized knowledge, and that's totally different. It's focused, it's applied, it's like a powerful river that actually turns the gears and makes things happen. Here's a modern way to think about it. Just scrolling through your social media feed, picking up random trivia, that's general knowledge. But learning a specific skill, say data analysis, and then using that skill to get a new client, that is specialized knowledge in action. See the difference?
Now, to really see this idea play out, let's look at one of the most famous stories from the book. And I mean, this story totally changes the game on what it means to be an educated person.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. When you hear that word educated, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Because this story about Henry Ford, it's really going to make you question that definition.
Most of us think an educated person is like a walking encyclopedia, right? Just a mind crammed full of facts. But Hill's idea? It's completely different. He says an educated person isn't someone who has all the answers. No, it's someone who knows how to get the answers they need, exactly when they need them, and then knows how to organize that information into a workable plan.
And this quote, wow, it comes from this amazing moment in history. Henry Ford was actually on the stand in court. A newspaper had called him ignorant, and the other lawyer was just grilling him with all these random trivia questions to try and prove it. And this was Ford's answer. It's said that it just completely silenced the entire courtroom.
And that right there, that perfectly shows his whole strategy. See, Ford didn't need to know everything himself. Why? Because he had built what Napoleon Hill famously called a mastermind group, basically a team of experts. Ford understood that real power wasn't in hoarding facts for yourself, but in knowing how to organize the specialized knowledge of other people. And you see this everywhere today, right? Think about the founding team of a startup, or even just having your own personal board of advisors.
Okay, so if you don't have to know everything yourself, then where do you get this specialized knowledge? Well, the good news is it's actually way more accessible than you probably think.
So Hill lays out a few key places to look. You start with your own experience and what you've already learned, obviously. But then you build on that. You can form your own mastermind group like Ford did. You can tap into colleges and universities. You can hit up public libraries. And let's be real, today that means massive online databases too. Or you can go for special training, which now could be anything from a formal degree to a quick online coding bootcamp.
Interestingly, he gives a special shout-out to what he called correspondence schools, what we'd probably just call online courses today. And he says their value isn't just about the stuff you learn, no. It's about the process. The act of actually paying for a course and then having the self-discipline to finish it, that, he argued, builds the kind of character traits that are absolutely critical for success.
All right, so you've gone out and you've gotten some of this specialized knowledge. Great, now what? Because getting the knowledge is only half the battle, right? How do you actually turn it into a real career or a profitable business?
This is where Hill pushes back against that old, traditional advice. Just start at the bottom and work your way up. He saw a huge risk in that. You can get stuck in a rut, just grinding away at boring work where the people who can give you a real shot never even see your true talents. So instead, he pushes for a much smarter, more strategic approach. Make a plan to start 1 or 2 steps above the very bottom. And he has this great story to back it up. It's about a young man who created a super detailed sales plan for his own services.
He didn't just send in a resume like everyone else. No, he presented his value. And the result? He landed a junior executive job right off the bat. Hill figured this saved him something like 10 years of just slowly climbing the corporate ladder. I mean, that's the ultimate personal brand, isn't it? It's not just a resume. It's a whole proposal that shows exactly how you're going to add value from the second you walk in the door.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got our specialized knowledge, we've got a smart plan to market it, but there is one final, absolutely crucial ingredient that brings the whole thing to life. It's the spark that turns a pretty good plan into a truly great one. Think of your specialized knowledge as this block of marble. It's your foundation, the raw material you're going to work with. It's absolutely essential, but on its own, it's still just a block. It's unrealized potential. So what's the catalyst? What's the spark that lights that fire and unlocks all that potential? It's imagination. That's the secret sauce. It's the one thing that lets you see new combinations, new ways to use what you know, and brand new opportunities where everyone else just sees, well, nothing.
So here's the bottom line. Imagination is like your mental workshop. It's the place where you take that raw material, your specialized knowledge, and you combine it with new ideas, and you forge them into real actionable plans. And you know what? That's what separates a technician from an innovator. It's what separates an employee from an entrepreneur.
Look, at the end of the day, Hill's big message is this. You don't have to be the single smartest person in the room. You just have to be educated in the way he defines it. And that means being someone who knows where to find the right knowledge, and more importantly, knows how to use your imagination to aim that knowledge at a very specific goal. So now you have the formula. The only real question left is, what are you going to do with it?